Hello, welcome again to this topic, process of research. So, before we get on with this topic of process of research, first let us run through a quick recap. In recap, we studied research is a scientific and systematic search for pertinent information on a specific topic. It is a scientific and systematic search. It is not just random effort, but it should be directed, it should be scientific, it should be systematic, everything should be chalked out from where data is coming, what kind of analysis is going in. Then motivation in doing research may be to get a degree, PhD degree, to face the challenge in solving an unsolved problem, adrenaline rush. I nailed it. Adrenaline rush, solving an unsolved problem. To get intellectual joy of doing some creative work, to be of service to society, to get respectability. So, these are certain motivations due to which we go into research. Then types of researches, we created some kind of clusters, descriptive and analytical. Descriptive, more of just description, analytical, an analysis of that description. So, when I go in for an analytical research, it is almost a done deal that it will pass through the descriptive path. And descriptive stops over there. It just describes something and stops over there. Then we had a next triplet, not exactly a triplet. It was a couplet only, fundamental and conceptual, but then conceptual was not clear to us. So, we made use of applied. So, what was fundamental, conceptual and applied? Fundamental, something very raw, very true, that holds truth, like gravity, magnet, it is a truth. Yoga, it is a truth. Medicines, chemicals, herbs, they cure us, it is a truth. But what cure, which herb, which chemical, which medicine? Conceptual. Things are falling down, but what is the acceleration and being experienced by them? Conceptual, concept building. You need different kind of hands to fly. You need wings kind of hands. Good, accept it, because I cannot fly, birds can fly. So yes, I need wings kind of hands. But then, if I had those hands, can I fly? Do you know, when we were inventing aeroplane, how many people just attached wings to their hands and jumped off buildings? They fractured their arms, legs, ended up dead. So no, we need wings, that is a fundamental thing. We need different kind of hands, that is a fundamental thing. But then along with that, I need certain air clearance, I need certain downward thrust. All those things will make me elevate in air, through which I will be able to swim in the air, I will be able to fly in the air. So, fundamental, conceptual is kind of details of that fundamentals, an understanding of those fundamentals, a reasoning of those fundamentals, and applied, application of those concepts. Now, you know a concept of Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem is not a fundamental research. Pythagoras theorem is a conceptual research, is a result of conceptual research. Fundamental is a building which is not straight will fall down. Fundamental is there is a link between shadow and height of building. The taller the building, the longer the shadow. That is a fundamental thing. But what is the relation? For what length of building, how long will be the shadow? That is a conceptual thing which came to us as a result of Pythagoras theorem. Now, using that Pythagoras theorem to build trusses, to build buildings, to build elevators, to measure distance. These days, we have these cameras and then there is height measurement in our camera. You point your camera to the base, you point your camera to the top of the building, and it will tell you the height of the building. Application of Pythagorean theorems. Application of trigonometric identities, trigonometric relations. So, fundamental, conceptual, applied. Then we had quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative was a research which is by and large based on numbers. Qualitative was a research based on opinions, experiences, ideas. That is qualitative. Not necessarily backed by numbers. My opinion, I am someone who is very successful in his business, and if I am giving a theory, then it does make a difference. It is important. 100 different businessmen who have not been successful will say one thing, I will say another thing. If it were a quantitative research, those 100 would be correct. But in a qualitative research, you will make use of your sense, logic. Are those 100 worthy of any comment? Or is this one businessman worthy of a comment, worthy of giving me an idea on how to excel in a business? So, quantitative, qualitative. Qualitative is not necessarily number based, and empirical is based on data, and then whatever remains is other type of research. Then we talked of certain problems encountered by researchers in constrained environments like India, where we are not so much data savvy, we do not know the importance of data. By and large, we do not have a framework that supports research. So, those were certain problems that faced by researchers. Today, we will talk of process of research. Now, this is going to be a long topic, so we will split this lecture also into two. We will have half of the process of research here, and then we will talk of half of the process of research in next video. So, in process of research, what are the steps? We will run through those steps and then we will talk on them in detail. Formulating the research problem, extensive literature survey, developing the hypothesis, preparing the research design, determining sample design, collecting data, execution of project, analysis of data, hypothesis testing, generalization and interpretation, and finally preparation of report or/and presentation of the results. So, these are steps, the process of research, mechanism in which research should be approached. Now, we will discuss these in little bit detail, and then we will go on to analysis of each step in detail. Formulating the research problem. Before you formulate a problem, before you even know that you have a problem, you cannot proceed further. You need to know what problem do you have. That is formulating a problem. You will be having a research team. That team should be knowing what is expected out of them, where do they need to head, where will you guide them if you yourself do not know what is the problem. So, formulating the research problem. Second one would be extensive literature survey, developing the hypothesis. Extensive literature survey, this is an essential, very important step which majority of the researchers take very lightly. This is such an important step that literally this is the step that tells you what is your problem. We may be very cool, we may be very smart, we may be knowing our research problem from first step, but this is the step that really tells us that what is the research problem, what is the gap that we need to fill in. This is the step that will help you avoid the mistake of reinventing the wheel. What is reinventing the wheel? Being up, awake, 22 hours a day, working, oh my God, what a scientist. He's working 22 hours a day. And after 3.5 years of research of this magnitude, he comes out and tells you that, see, I made this piece, this circular piece, You put it on table and roll it. It will roll. What is the fun of it? That wheel has already been invented. Why did he waste your resources for 3.5 years, 22 hours a day? There is no fun reinventing the wheel. This tab, extensive literature survey, tells you what research has already been done. When we do that literature survey, we search for all the researches that have been done related to our field. Now, yes, of course, this is a second step. It will never be a first step. First step will be a problem that you have, formulating the research problem. But then refining can come, direction can come as a result of this extensive literature survey. So what is extensive literature survey? You go out, search for journals, publications, newspapers, articles, magazines, everything possible that might contain some information related to the problem that you are facing. Does it make sense for you to call up Samsung, Apple, Xiaomi, Huawei, Oppo, Vivo, God knows what all? Does it make sense to call all these companies and get specifications of their top 20 phones? You have a problem, you need to buy a phone, but does it make sense to call all those companies with specification of their 20 top phones? You'll have specification of 200 phones. How will you compare them? This is where extensive literature survey steps in. If you had done extensive literature survey, see, the problem is still the same. I need to buy a new phone. But if I had done extensive literature survey, it would have told me that all these specifications are already existing on GSM Arena. It is a beautiful website. You can go and compare the phones over there. So you go there, check the specifications, detailed comparisons, picture quality is also compared. You go and compare over there. Why are you calling those 10 different companies with 20 different specifications each? That is reinventing the wheel. All that information is out there. Survey it, check it. What this does is, it solves your problem immediately. You have a solution without contacting the businesses. You have a solution without contacting the Samsungs and the Apples. Okay, so extensive literature survey. More often than not, it will tell you that this research has been done. If you are doing applicability of Maslow's hierarchy in 2020. Now, this is the funny thing came into my head. I was teaching. I wish to see, is it applicable today also? Are people driven by money today also? Are the topmost people driven by self-actualization today also? I wish to check. Okay, let me go out and check. Now, when I sit on my laptop, my desktop, and search Google for application or acceptance of Maslow's hierarchy in 2020, there are 100 different articles, 100 different papers that have been published, which means people have already worked on applicability of Maslow's hierarchy in 2020. It is not a good idea to go into research of that topic once again, reinventing the wheel. Rather, I should try to focus on Maslow's hierarchy in India, application of Maslow's hierarchy in Bikaner, application of Maslow's hierarchy in teaching industry, education industry, sector you may call it. People get offended when you call education industry. So, in any case, extensive literature survey is studying what has been done. Now, when I studied, I came to know that a lot of work has been done on Maslow's hierarchy, application of Maslow's hierarchy in 2020. So, I need not work on that topic. I will refine, I will modify my topic to work on its application in Bikaner right now. So, this literature survey gave me a gap that no one has worked on Maslow's hierarchy in Bikaner. No one has worked on Maslow's hierarchy in Rajasthan. Bikaner is a big place. Rajasthan is a further big state, biggest state in India. Is this theory applicable at all in Rajasthan? Let me go out and find out. So this literature survey tells you the gaps of what you are trying to solve and where we are sitting. So formulating the research problem, you should start with the problem, then go for a literature survey, developing the hypothesis, if at all possible, if at all applicable, develop a possible, probable, good hypothesis. We'll talk of hypothesis in two sections. Once in this initial introduction phase, then when we move to hypothesis testing, we'll again talk of hypothesis. So developing a hypothesis. Hypothesis is my idea, my opinion, based on rational grounds, not just some vague, but it's based on some rational opinions, rational thought process. So that is a hypothesis. Preparing the research design, prepare a design. Now once you have a problem, once you know the gap that this is missing, this is where I wish to head, this is what I wish to check in hypothesis, make a plan how we'll get there. That is your research design. And in research design, almost a part of it would be determining the sampling design, how the samples will be collected. You could go in for a census survey, but census is not always a logical end. So what will be my sample design? You can go in for a sample design also. Then collect the data. Once you have decided that this will be my research design, once you have decided that this will be my sample design, go out and interview the sample. Go and gather data from sample, that is collecting of data. And then it is execution of project. I have a problem, I know the sample, I am collecting the data, I am analyzing the data, I am executing my project, I am doing very well on my project. Then once you have the data, analyze it. Once you are through with your classification, categorization, data collection, classification, organizing, you have your statistics, averages, correlations, means, medians, modes, blah, 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 what not, serious statistics. So once you have your analysis, check hypothesis using suitable measures. As I told, hypothesis will be dealing in detail in hypothesis testing. So go ahead and test your hypothesis. Generalizations and interpretations. Once we are through with our analysis, once we have tested our hypothesis, we can give some generalizations. Yes, more study leads to more marks, more advertising leads to more sales. People above 60 are more susceptible to death through corona. Generalization and interpretation and preparation of the report. No research is complete unless it is published. Let us go to our first video once again. It is done for betterment of mankind. It is done to help make our lives better. If you do not publish it, how will people make use of your efforts? Your efforts are going to die with you. So we need to publish our research. The journals you see, the articles you see, the research articles you see, the research papers you see, the PhDs, they are all presentations of findings of some research efforts by some genius men. So this is the process of research. Formulate a problem, survey, a literature survey to find the gaps, develop a working hypothesis, prepare a research design, sampling design, collect the data, that is execution of project, analyze the data, test your hypothesis, give me generalizations and interpretations and conclusions, prepare a final report. Now here you can see that all those steps in a block diagram. Nice little block diagram, a pictorial image. So we are starting with defining the research problem. Review of literature is giving me review of concepts and theories, review previous research findings. Then we formulate a hypothesis in third step, design, research design. Fifth step is collection of data, that is execution of project. Sixth step in analysis of data, testing of hypothesis if any. If any, the block diagram also says if any, hypothesis is not at all necessary. This problem comes through our lecture on problems faced by researchers. The professors, the teachers, the researchers, the scholars, the students, may not be so well versed conceptually, and they might frame a hypothesis by compulsion. Hypothesis is not a compulsion. If your research demands for, if your topic is such, definitely you should have an hypothesis, otherwise it is not a compulsion. Analyze the data, test hypothesis, if any, interpret and report. So this is a block diagram of those steps. You can find all these notes at adityclasses.co.in, adityaclasses.co.in. So you can find all these notes at adityclasses.co.in. The link will be provided in the comment section. So if any block diagram I am using, if this PPT that I am making use of, you can get everything on adityclasses.co.in, adityaclasses.co.in. So you can find all these notes over there. Now, components of a research problem. As I told, we'll talk of all those steps in detail. Components of a research problem. What is a research problem? We start our research with a problem. What should be the components of a research problem? There must be some environments to which difficulty pertains. There should be some framework, some system where that problem exists. That problem could exist in a colony, that problem could exist in my body, that problem could exist in my workplace, that problem could exist in my car, that problem could exist in my laptop that I am using. There should be some environment where we have that problem, and that environment should be understandable. I should know what that environment is. I cannot use a veterinary doctor to treat a human being. You should understand the environment. You cannot apply motivational practices of a bhujia factory in a university. You should understand the environment. There should be an environment, and that environment should be understandable to us as a research. There must be an individual. Whenever I say individual, as in accounts also, individual is not necessarily one person. There should be an individual or a group or an organization, an entity, more of an entity. There should be an entity who can be an individual or a group and an organization to whom that problem is attributed. If I am ill, the problem is attributed to me. If I have issues at workplace, that problem is attributed to my workplace. If I have a problem with political framework, political structure, that problem is attributed to political structure of a nation. So there must be individual to whom problem can be attributed. There must be at least two courses of action to be pursued. Now, if there is only one course of action to be pursued, what is the fun of investing money, time, effort in research? If there is only one course of action, do we need to go for research? If there is only one mobile handset available in this universe, is there any fun in researching what are the specifications of this phone? You have to buy it. If there is only one plot available in complete district and you need to buy a plot in here only as your father wishes, do you need to go for any research? Do you need to find, do you need to ask any agents, any rates, anything? No. When there is only one choice, there is no need of research. There should be at least two courses of action possible. Then I'll go in for a research and I'll pick the best one. There must be at least two possible outcomes of the courses of actions. Now, if there are two possible courses of actions, like we said in the previous step, same mobile, only one mobile is available in universe, only one mobile brand is available in this universe. There is shop A, there is shop B. Both are selling it for 13,000. Both are giving you 1 year warranty. Both have a rating of 4.8 out of 200 votes on their Google Maps, Google Map listing. Does it make sense to go and delve into any research? When both shops are completely homogeneous, product is homogeneous, warranties are homogeneous, there is no fun, there is no logic. There must be at least two possible outcomes of the courses of actions. Outcome of one course of action should be that it is giving me better service. Other one is giving me 12,500 instead of 13,000. Now I have two possible outcomes. Now I need to get into it. If the product is reliable, if it does not need warranty, I'll go for 12,500 because I do not need after sales. But if there has been iffy things, I'll bank onto the warranty because there is a chance I might need to exercise that warranty. That should be two outcomes. The courses of action available must provide some chance of obtaining the objective, but they cannot provide the same chance. Otherwise, the choice would not matter. The courses of action available must provide some chance of obtaining the objective. I need a mobile phone. In this universe, only one brand is available. There is a vegetable shop in my area. There is a bakery in my area. Only one phone is available in this universe. Can I go to those two shops and ask for that mobile phone? It is the same mobile phone available everywhere. Will they at all be carrying my mobile phone? Do I need to survey which of the shops has better service, who speaks better, who has AC installed in his shop? Do I need to survey this? No, because the problem that I am researching for cannot be solved through these two alternatives. So whenever a course of action is picked up, that course of action should lead to solution of a problem. If it is not leading to solution of a problem, there is no fun traveling that path, going down that line. You can drop it. So if we summarize up to this point, it is getting lengthy. There must be some environment. You should understand the environment. This is the setup. This is a human being. This is an animal. He needs a vet. He needs a MD. There must be an individual or a group or an organization to whom the problem can be attributed. Some unit to which the problem can be attributed. Some reason, some cause to which a problem can be attributed. Only then can I solve it. Otherwise, there is no fun solving it. If that problem cannot be attributed to one thing, then why are you solving it? You cannot solve it. There should be a reason, there should be a cause for my illness. Then only can I solve it. There should be a cause for dissatisfaction at workplace. Then only can we solve it. There must be at least two courses of action, A or B. If there is only one choice, no fun, A or B. Then both those courses of action should give me two different solutions. If I go to A, I am getting better warranty. If I go to B, I am getting a cheaper handset. Two different courses of action, two different outcomes. And last one that we talked was the courses of action available must provide some chance. AC, good parking, but one is fruit shop, one is bakery. Will I get my mobile phone over there? No. So both are good alternatives, but not leading to my solution. Now, considerations before selecting a research problem. We were talking of components of a research problem. These are the things that should be there in a research problem. Then only can I proceed in a logical way. Now we are moving to considerations before selecting a research problem. What should be in your head? What should you consider before classifying anything as a research problem? Not everything can be classified as a research problem. The fan is making noise. It is not a research problem. Simple alternative is take it down, give it to the electrician. He'll take care of it. So considerations before selecting a research problem. A good start is half the job done. If you start well, if you know what is your problem, half the job is done. If you know what to study, half the job is done. Problem is, we do not know what to study, from where to gather data. That is a problem. A good start is half the job done. Subject which is overdone should not be normally chosen. Some time back we talked of 100 research papers on Maslow's application in 2020. Now if so many people have worked on it, there are two reasons why you should not go for such a problem. One is, it is reinventing the wheel. When someone has worked on it, what pleasure are you getting from it? Except for cash, career advancement. There is no fun in such research. Torturing yourself. So subject which is overdone should not normally be done because there is no output of this. Secondly, if you are touching on a topic which everybody knows about, there is a high chance that people will come after you. People will know that you have not done this thing correctly. There will be more challenges for you. There will be more people knowing what you are doing. So that is also a catch. The more people know what you are doing, the more suggestions will come, the more arguments will come, the more tests for your work will come. So a subject which is overdone should normally not be taken. Controversial subjects should not become the choice of an average researcher. Controversial subjects, government policies, politics, religion, an average researcher should avoid these. Reason being, although I am not doing this research for a controversy, I am doing this research with a very genuine search for knowledge. But the problem is, what I ask to the other person, he may get offended. My intentions might be good, but being an average, being a novice, learning the terminology, the ways of collecting data, understanding the subjects, respondents, I might at times pick improper words, inappropriate words. Like these days, the ruling party is BJP in India. In India, ruling party is extreme right party, BJP. Now they have a very strong cadre base. If I wish to congratulate someone, from BJP, I feel he is doing very good work, his party is winning election after election, and I wish to congratulate him, and I call him Bhakt. It hurts them. Now this was an issue, my intentions were good. I was not getting into a political debate, but because these BJP supporters are these days being known as Bhakts, I called him a Bhakt, and this might generate a controversy. Now, being an average researcher, I might not be able to handle this controversy. First is, I got into this controversy because I was an average researcher. Second is, being an average researcher, I might not be able to handle the backlash of it. So, as far as possible, a new researcher should stay away from controversial subjects and controversial topics. A new researcher should be far away from Hindu Muslim in India, because things can get very, very fast. So controversial subjects should be left for advanced researchers. Too narrow or too vague problems should be avoided. So that could be a good criteria. This is how you should pick your topics. Giving pinpoint doesn't make sense for research. I need to buy a corner plot in area Gandhinagar, sector 3 on main road. Now you have narrowed down so much that your research is hardly to yield any result. You have narrowed down to a particular location, specific location. It is very hard to find a solution to. Your father will go out searching for all plots and he'll come with zero result because you have narrowed down your problems this much. I wish to buy a plot somewhere in India. This is too vague. How will you find out a plot in India? India is too big a nation to search across length and breadth. Not possible. So, not too vague, not too narrow. I wish to buy a plot in Bikaner within a range of 40 to 60 lakhs. Now, this is a very crisp, focused range. You will get 100, 200, 500 plots in this range. Now, go in for research. That research could be proximity to your child's education place, proximity to your workplace, proximity to your friends, proximity to your relatives, friends, brothers, sisters, whatever. Those could be research questions. But this particular plot, a corner plot in this area on main road is too narrow. In India is too vague. You give some scope, a proper scope where I can survey, where I can go for research. So, too narrow, too vague, problem should be avoided. The subject selected for the research should be familiar and feasible. Important, in earlier lectures we saw, it is better you go out for a research on smart television or smart mobile and let your father go on for a research for a new plot. Subject selected for the research should be familiar and feasible. Then only will be comfortable. Then will not end up in the situation, problem of researcher, last point that we saw. Conceptually they are not clear. If I am not knowing about problem, how can I research? How can I survey about anything? So, preferably pick up a topic which you are comfortable with, about which you know. Few other criteria that must also be considered in selecting a problem: importance of subject, qualification and training of a researcher, very important qualifications of researcher, costs involved, time factor, time is money. Researches should be completed within time framework, otherwise they become irrelevant. Your research on a new mobile, if it takes 6 months, it will be irrelevant, because in 6 months there will be new phones, new handsets, new models on shelves. Your father's research can take a year or 2 or 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, because plots will not change in their basic characteristic, and as far as pricing is concerned, for last 6-8 years prices have also not changed. In fact, they have moved in a favorable direction only, they have gone down only. So, certain researches need certain time frame, certain can be open. So, time and cost should be taken care of. Importance of subject, subject should be of relevance, because we are going to contribute to the knowledge. Research is not an activity just for you. Yes, buying a mobile is for you, but when you actually go in for researches, ultimate objective is to make life better for mankind. So, topic should be importance. Then selection of problem must be preceded by preliminary study. Now you come to that point where we talked of process of research. Pick up a problem, then we said literature survey. You were confused because I said literature survey is most important, as this literature survey will guide you what is the problem you should serve. So, who comes first? Murgi ya anda? Problem or literature survey? Yes, of course, I'll start with the problem. I'll go in for literature survey, but the selection of problem must be preceded by a preliminary study also. So, a tiny little study can guide you in proper direction. So, I'll make a survey, a pilot survey, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 15 days. I'll sit on internet, I'll look at the dimensions of a problem, of an issue, and then frame my problem. And then will come literature survey. So, I'll be knowing that, okay, this is a problem that is worthy of research. And then a literature survey will tell me, no, not exactly this, there is a little gap and you should refine your problem. So, this is very important. Selection of problem must be preceded by preliminary study. Pilot is always there, pilot testing should always be there. Then we have understanding the research problem. How to understand your problem. Task of formulating or defining a research problem is a step of greatest importance in the entire research process. A good start is half the job done. We saw in this lecture itself. A good start is half the job done. Task of formulating, defining research problem is a step of greatest importance. If you do not tell the veterinary hospital what animal you are bringing, they won't be able to manage a proper vet for you. So, proper definition of problem. You should know what you want. You should know what the problem is. You should know what you are looking for. Then only can I search for. Now, to define a problem correctly, a researcher must know what the problem is. If I do not know the problem, how will I define it? Having pain in your head, your eyes are not feeling good, your throat is not feeling good, stomach is not good, you're feverish. You need to tell what is happening. Then only can your parents take you to a proper doctor. Define a problem correctly, a researcher must know what the problem is. I know I have a severe headache. Now that headache could be due to 10 different reasons, but at least I need to guide the research in proper direction, that it is related to this. This is not exactly related to this, but this is an outcome. So the researcher, the analyst, the doctor will see what are the reasons you could have a headache. He'll prescribe you certain tests and the research will be in proper direction. If you just tell not feeling well, what should he test? You might be having a ache over here, a sprain, and you are not telling him. What test should he perform? But if you tell him I have a sprain over there, that's why I am not feeling well, I am not feeling good about myself. Then he'll prescribe you an X-ray or something. So you should know what the problem is. Two types of research problems. Any kind of research problem, they fall essentially into two categories. Those which relate to state of nature, descriptive. Those which relate to relationship between variables, analytical. Only two types of problems, descriptive or analytical. Either you are simply telling what it is, or you are telling what are the variables that are creating this. Descriptive, analytical. Yes, then there can be fundamental, then can be conceptual, but ultimately down the line they'll also fall under the category of descriptive or analytical. So this is a reason that we need to understand that my research could be descriptive also and qualitative also. More often than not, descriptive is quantitative, but there can be possibility of descriptive being qualitative, quantitative being analytical. Right now, what is happening with corona researches, those are quantitative researches, but they are analytical. So it is not in black and white, there are a lot of gray areas, there are a lot of overlapping areas. So two types of research problems, only two. One which relates to state of nature, another one which relates to relationship between variables. Initially, the problem may be stated in a broad general way, but then ambiguities, if any, should be resolved and you should have a crisp problem. Plot lena hai yaar. Now this is a very general. This is almost as good as India mein plot lena hai yaar. पर अब 40 साल की सर्विस यहाँ हो गई है तो सोचते हैं कि बीकानेर में ही सेटल होंगे. I spent all my life in Bikaner, so I feel I should settle down in Bikaner itself. Now what we are doing is, we had a general problem. I need to settle down. Retirement is nearing. I need my own house. So I need to settle down. That was a general problem. But then I started refining it. Although I belong to Jodhpur, but because I have lived all my life in Bikaner, it is better I settle down in Bikaner. So now I am narrowing down the margin that yes, I should get a plot in Bikaner. Most of my colleagues are living in Vyas Colony. My workplace is in Vyas Colony. it is better if I get some plot in that area. Now what I have done is, my huge broad problem of plot narrowed down to Bikaner, almost narrowed down to Vyas colony. Now it is not at all necessary that I will find my solutions in Vyas colony, but at least I have an area to look for. It could be Chanakya Nagar, it could be that Reliance area, whatever. So it could be nearby areas of JNV, Khaturia. So initially state in broad general terms, then ambiguity is remove those ambiguities by talking to experts, by talking to others and refining on your topic. Then the feasibility of particular solution has to be considered before a working formulation of the problem can be set up. Feasibility. I need a plot in Vyas colony near my workplace. Go out, who's stopping you? It is 2 crores. Buy it. Can we? So feasibility needs to be checked for everything. Feasibility of a particular solution. Is this solution feasible? Am I prepared to go in this direction? That feasibility should always be checked of the problem. You are giving me that I need to go to Vyas colony near my workplace. It will give you a feasible solution. It is mathematics, it is linear problem. It will give you a solution, best solution. But you need to put on constraints, feasibility. No. I can afford a plot between 40 to 60 lakhs only. All of a sudden, those areas are out. That is feasibility. Your solutions should be feasible. I can give you a solution. You need more profit? Yes, go produce more. It is as simple as that. Produce more, sell more, advertise more. But is that a feasible solution? How can I produce more if I do not have capacity? How can I sell more if I do not have market? How can I advertise more if I am not selling as it is? So give me some feasible solution. When I am saying that I wish to increase my profits, you could suggest me to venture into some new business. You could suggest me to venture into some new market. You could suggest me to work on my cost cutting, waste reduction, not cost cutting exactly, waste reduction. These could have been solutions. So the feasibility of a particular solution has to be considered before a working formulation of the problem. Go produce more, sell more, advertise more. That is not a feasible solution for me. I do not have resources. I do not have market. Even if I had resources, I do not have market. Right now, in COVID lockdowns, 42 days, not a single car is selling, bike is selling, everything is under lockdown. What should I do? How can I produce more? Not a feasible solution. Solution should be feasible. The problem to be investigated must be defined unambiguously, for that will help discriminating relevant data from irrelevant data. A lot of data that will be collected may be irrelevant, will be irrelevant, not maybe, it will be irrelevant. So, if you have defined your problem very crisply, it is leading you in one direction, then it will be very easy to bifurcate the two, relevant and irrelevant data. But if your problem is ambiguous, a lot of data will come, 2 crore, 5 crore, 10 crores, 20,000, 40,000. Are you ready to move into those bastis of 20,000, 40,000? Do you have the capacity to move in 5 crores? That is all ambiguous data, irrelevant data. Problem should be defined crisply, to the point, so that the irrelevant data and relevant data can be separated. Then 2 steps are involved in formulating the research problem. This will be the last problem, last point, then we'll stop this presentation and then we'll continue in next lecture. 2 steps are involved in formulating the research problem. Understanding the problem thoroughly by discussing it with one's own colleagues or with those having some expertise in the matter, rephrasing the same into meaningful terms from an analytical point of view. Formulate a problem, reformulate a problem, reformulate it. This is the only way you can refine your problem. And once the problem is refined, irrelevant data is out, only relevant data will prevail. Your analysis will be so simple. These are the two things you need to look for. What are those? Understanding the problem thoroughly by discussing it with one's own colleagues and experts. I may not necessarily be an expert of every field. I can buy a good mobile, I can buy a good plot, but I may not be necessarily an expert of where to go for vacation. So it is better I talk to my colleagues. It is better I talk to some tour planners, expertise. Colleagues, they might have gone last summer break, so I'll ask them. Experts, those tour planners, this is my budget, these many number of people will be going, these many days we have, he'll suggest you a solution. So, before defining your problem finally, it is always better to discuss with your colleagues and experts of that area. You'll get a very good definition of your problem. And then rephrasing the same into meaningful terms. Initially it could be vague, but then slowly and slightly it will become crisp, it will be very evident, it will be very simple to understand. Initially it could be vague, initially it could be broad, it could have had some tough, typical shift F7 kind of words in your problem. But once we have talked with others, they'll say that remove this shift F7 words, shift plus F7 if you have not used it. Type a word in MS Word and then press shift plus F7. It will give you beautiful words which will make no sense to you at all. So, initially your problem could have had shift plus F7 words, but slowly those words would be out and your problem will be very clear to be solved. So, this is it for present lecture. We'll continue this very same topic in the next lecture. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Take care.